Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? No way, punk!
Are you talking to me? No way, punk. Hey everybody, Venomous here. I'm just gonna jump right into it. Give me a second here. No time like the present. Oh, my screen is... hold on a sec. Ah, come on. Tisk, tisk. There, that's better. Mostly. Okay. Good to go, let's go. Exclusive Notre Dame interior faces woke Disney revamp. Critics aghast at plans seen by the Telegraph for Christianity for Dummies. Trail inside Notre Dame. And Klaus is joining us tonight. Hello, Klaus. Why you cats do this to me? I'm just trying to record. And that's when you show up. Alright, he's on my lap now. Alright. Paris's fire-ravaged Notre Dame Cathedral risks resembling a politically correct Disneyland under controversial plans for its renovation seen by the Telegraph. Critics have warned that the world-famous cathedral will be turned into an experimental showroom under plans to dramatically change the inside of the medieval building. Under proposed changes, the confessional boxes, altars, and classical sculptures will be replaced with modern art, murals, and new sound and light effects to create emotional spaces. This is what made me had to read this article to you. Emotional spaces. Just that. Those two words was enough to grasp me. There will be themed chapels on a discovery trail with emphasis on Africa and Asia, while quotes from the Bible will be projected onto chapel walls in various languages, including Mandarin. The final chapel on the trail will have a strong environmental emphasis. It's as if Disney was entering Notre Dame, said Maurice Coulot, a prize-winning Paris-based architect, urbanist, theorist, and critic who has seen the plans. What they are proposing to do to Notre Dame would never be done to Westminster Abbey or St. Peter's in Rome. It's a kind of theme park and very childish and trivial given the grandeur of the place, he told the Telegraph. A senior source close to the renovation said that the plans risk turning the global beacon of Christianity into an experimental showroom that would mutilate the work of Eugene Villet. Okay, I'm not saying the French name. The celebrated architect who restored the cathedral following the ravages of the French Revolution in an effort to recapture the spirit of medieval Christianity. Can you imagine the administration of the Holy See allowing... Isn't that supposed to be sect? Holy sect? I don't know, it says Holy See allowing something like this in the Sistine Chapel. Said the senior source with access to the latest plans. It would be unimaginable. We are not in an empty space here. This is political correctness gone mad. They want to turn Notre Dame into an experimental liturgical showroom that exists nowhere else, whereas it should be a landmark where the slightest change must be handled with great care. The famed Gothic cathedral was severely damaged by the blaze on April 16th of 2019, when images of flames engulfing the roof and toppling its 19th century spire shocked the world. Those parts of the building that was damaged by fire will be painstakingly restored to their former condition. However, under the new plans, some areas that were relatively less affected by the disaster will be dramatically changed. A global wave of emotions saw 340,000 donors contribute 833 million to restoring the iconic edifice. Some 165 million had already been spent by September on securing the cathedral, which was structurally damaged during the fire. A second chunk of the 262.6 million in donations will go towards phase 1 of restoration work. John Louis Georgelin, the general who President Emmanuel Macron, tasked with rebuilding Notre Dame, has pledged that it will be sufficiently restored to stage a Te Deum on April 16, 2024, in time for the Olympic Games in Paris. Initially, Edouard Philippe, the French Prime Minister at the time, said he would launch an international competition to rebuild the destroyed roof and spire, potentially with a modern design that bears the mark of our time. After widespread uproar over architectural flights of fancy, one which even included a swimming pool, the contest was scrapped, and the spire, roof, and medieval wooden beams are all to be rebuilt as faithfully as possible to the original designs. However, the same cannot be said for the interior given current plans seen by the Telegraph and 2 European media outlets. In June, the Archbishop of Paris, Michael Obyte, said these would bring the cathedral into the 21st century while preserving its own identity in the spirit of the Christian tradition. However, the plans presented by Father Gilles Drouin, the interior will look to the future, not the past. Under the proposals, visitors will pass through the main entrance and be shepherded towards 14 themed chapels depicting Genesis, Abraham, Exodus, and the prophets, but also the 5 continents. While Africa and Asia will have a pride of place, Europe, the Americas, and Oceania will either be less evident behind the apes or totally absent. I'm going to guess totally absent. The tour ends at the chapel dedicated to reconcile the creation, namely environmentalism, as set out in Pope Francis' Laudato Si encyclical. The idea, said Mr. Drouin, was to teach a captive audience of 12 million visitors. 12 million visitors with multiple motivations and very little Catholic culture, the basics of Christianity and the history of salvation, without turning it into catechism in the heavy sense of the word. On Wednesday, he confirmed that the plans were more than ever on the table. Christian Rousselet, the Director General of the Notre Dame Foundation, in charge of handling the lion's share of donations, also confirmed proposals for a visitor's discovery trail to provide the keys to half the planet that doesn't know what a cathedral is. This trail, going from north to south, from the shadow to the light, will depict the major moments of the Bible to explain in the most intelligible to common mortals, whether Chinese or Swedish, what it all means. He also confirmed that the proposal to project foreign phrases on the walls. Foreign visitors see signs and magnificent paintings, but don't understand a thing. Images and sculptures and paintings count, but so do words. So there are plans to project on certain words, expressions in Mandarin, French, or Spanish and English. A call for 6 million in donations above and beyond those collected so far was launched in June for the internal restoration, he said. Damn, it just keeps going. So senior source says spending blah blah blah. Yada yada yada. Etc., etc. The plans also include the possibility of storing benches underground thanks to a goods elevator. which would require knocking a hole in the 18th century crypt designed by Jacques-Germain Scofflat, or whatever, who built Paris Pantheon aberration. Even more controversial proposal to remove the stained glass windows designed by Viollet-le-Duc from the chapels and replace them with modern ones has been ruled out, he confirmed. In his presentation, Mr. Drouin also mentioned lighting and sound effects that will take visitors from the darkness to the light. According to the senior source, the majority of members on a scientific committee overlooking the restoration are skeptical of the plans, but Jean Georgian and the Paris Archbishop are keen to press ahead at a crucial meeting of France's National Heritage Commission on December 9th. So there. They destroy it and bring in their modern woke crap for the brave new world. And this is all predicted in this video here. You may recall. I'm just gonna, we don't need the sound. Right here. This is a 6-minute mark. It decides to start, it starts to collapse. This is the representation of the Notre Dame. This is a video. I'm sure you're familiar with it. iPet Goat 2 from 2012. And there it goes. But yeah, thought that was really interesting, especially those two emotional spaces. Thought that was hilarious. Just totally appropriate for what they're turning everyone into, which are marshmallow people. Anyways, next story. This one's not as exciting, but we have a magic number here. After 111 years, an overdue book returns to Idaho Library. North Bay. The life of one library book in Ohio, has come full circle after the novel was recently returned more than a century after it was taken out. The book, New Chronicles of Rebecca, by American author Kate Douglas Wiggin, was originally checked out from the Boise Carnegie Public Library in 1910. It was returned earlier this month, much to the surprise of library employees. In a Facebook post, the Boise Public Library stated that it was a fine of 2 cents per day. The individual who checked out the book would have owed $803. But as the library added, thank goodness the Boise Public Libraries are now fine-free. Canada has also had its fair share of late library book returns, which often occur after someone has cleaned out old belongings. And I'm not going to read all these. So we have one in Vancouver, 70 years, one in Nova Scotia, 82 years. Ernest Hemingway, for whom the bell tolls, was turned anonymously. The written handling apology, North District Branch of Toronto Public Library, almost 33 years overdue. Ugh, so close. And then we have just a bunch of stories. But yeah, I think they just had to have that number out. Just had to have it. It's gotta have that. Gotta have it there. Gotta have that number. It gets more cringy now, folks. I hope you're ready. Santa gets a boyfriend in holiday commercial celebrating the LGBTQWXYZ rights. Christmas just got a little gayer. A little bit more conclusive. Celebrate 50 years since the country decriminalized same-sex relationships. Norway's postal service, Posten Norge, has put out a holiday commercial that chronicles the growing bond between Santa Claus and a potential suitor. The commercial, titled When Harry Met Santa, shows the budding relationship between a man named Harry and the man in the red suit as they meet up in Harry's living room each year on Christmas Eve. The interactions are brief at first, with small glances and smiles. Over the years, viewers see Harry begin to put more effort into his appearance, pulling on a festive sweater, or suit and a spritz of cologne before heading to the living room for his annual glimpse of his crush. Yeah, we're gonna take a peek at this, and I apologize in advance. I'm not gonna have any sound because it's just boring sounds in the back. It's just music. And yeah, so Harry shirtless. Okay, so they just keep doing that. There's Harry thinking about Santa. He has to go see Santa. It's Italian, or no, not Italian. They said what is it? Norwegian. You're snoring. Santa Claus is sitting there creeping on Harry. Harry couldn't be happier. I'll be back next year. And let's skip forward. I'll miss you. One day each year. Wait. Dear Santa. Get that out of here. Dear Santa, all I want for Christmas is you. Wow, he's writing Santa a letter. I don't envy the part that's coming. Or, I mean, not envy, but I don't look forward to the part that's coming. Oh, sorry. He's talking here. I have to go back. Well, I arranged for some help this year. Really? You have a backup Santa? So I can be with you. Who's running the sled? It ain't Mrs. Claus. Not in this version. I guess maybe it's a secret, and he's got Mrs. Claus all deceived. Oh my god. And you might want to get your barf bucket out. This gets very intense here. And there you go. That's a commercial for you, people. This is the year is 2021. Santa Claus is skinny and gay, and everyone loves it. Oh, I'm sorry for showing you that. Anyways. It's a bit much. I mean, like, come on. Where's Mrs. Claus in all this? The bond between the pair grows. Yeah. It just tells you what it says. Oh, God. I didn't even have to watch the video. I didn't go this far down. I just knew I had to show this. Because it's, I saw it, so now you have to suffer. I don't know who this guy is. Oh wait, who is he? This video has captured attention worldwide. Randall Garrison, an MP in British Columbia, even broke his own memorandum on not posting Christmas content before December because he was so excited. He was so excited for Gay Santa that he had to break his promise. He had to share it. He was giddy. And they've been freaking pushing this. They've been pushing it more every year. I mean, there was that cartoon or whatever it was. It was like, I remember Jeff sharing it way back. You know what? We're not looking it up. I'm not. I thought that was the gayest thing I had seen. Was going to see today, but then I saw this, and this is actually possibly gayer. Here's why WHO's skipped 2 Greek letters to name new variant Omicron. The name of newly identified variant of the coronavirus has some social media users scratching their heads about the World Health Organization's system for labeling certain versions of the virus. The WHO chose on Friday to dub the variant first reported to the agency by scientists in South Africa, Omicron, continuing its use of the Greek alphabet for naming notable variants of the virus. Social media users correctly noted, however, that the organization skipped 2 letters to do so. Leading to the questions above about the move, here's what we know about how Omicron ended up with its name. Claim the World Health Organization has labeled the new strain the Omicron variant, skipping over new and Z without explanation. The facts: the WHO is on Friday gave the name Omicron to the new variant of coronavirus that causes COVID-19. The agency also deemed it a variant of concern. Omicron was first reported to the UN Health Agency by scientists in South Africa and has been identified in several other countries as well. The Associated Press has reported the WHO has followed the Greek alphabet when labeling certain variants of the virus SARS-CoV-2. Since May, it said the system allows for variants to be referred to in a simpler way than their scientific names, and that it helps prevent people from referring to variants by location where they were detected and creating stigma. Many people had expected the agency to label the latest variant new, which comes after mu, a variant designated on August 30th. Instead, the WHO skipped over new, and as well as the next Greek letter in the line, yada yada yada, you know. Social media pointed out, while some questioned whether it was to avoid offending Chinese leader Xi Jinping. I can never say his name. Xi Jinping. In a statement provided to the AP, the WHO said it skipped new for clarity and Z to avoid causing offense generally. New is too easily confounded with new, and Z was not used because it is a common last name. The WHO said, adding that the agency best practices for naming disease, suggesting avoiding causing offense to any cultural, social, national, regional, professional, or ethnic groups. Well, what about the Delta variant? Because what about Delta Hotels, Delta Airlines, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other Delta products and companies and all that. You're not concerned about them, bitch. Those best practices were outlined in a May 2015 document issued by the agency. The organization said at the time that it wanted to minimize the necessary negative effects on nations, economies, and people when naming infectious diseases. This is the first time the organization has skipped letters since it began using the Greek alphabet for coronavirus variants. It has previously used the alphabet to label 12 others: alpha, beta, gamma, delta. All are currently variants of concern, like Omicron, lambda, and mu, are given the less serious variants of interest designation. 6 other letters were assigned to former variants of interest. They never talk about it, but epsilon was one of them. I guess they just weren't ready to dish that one out yet. The Omicron variant appears to have a high number of mutations in the coronavirus spike protein, which could affect how easily it spreads to people. The WHO said Friday that preliminary evidence suggests an increased risk of reinfection compared to the other variants of concern, but scientists are still in the process of researching exactly what the genetic changes mean to know if the variant is more transmissible or dangerous. So far, there is no indication that the variant causes more severe disease. Now, we want to look at the symptoms, because I have a prediction. Over the past few days, we have been inundated with scattered reports of urgent warnings of Omicron, which health officials could feel, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, let's get to the symptom parts. Yada, yada, yada. A doctor with a private practice in Pretoria and chair of the South African Medical Association, SAMA, told the Telegraph that so far, Omicron cases seem to present with strange but mild symptoms. Their symptoms were so different and so mild from those I had treated before, she said. Most of the Omicron patients Coetzee as treated arrived feeling so tired, making the intense fatigue the most consistent symptom. Man, that's so weird being, you have your coronavirus cold and you're feeling intense fatigue. It's such a strange symptom. I don't know. On the other hand, none of these patients suffer from loss of taste or smell, which has been one of the telltale COVID symptoms up to this point. In terms of other surprising symptoms, Coetzee told the Telegraph, we had one very interesting case, a child about six years old, with a temperature and a very high pulse rate. And I wondered if I should admit her, but when I followed up 2 days later, she was so much better. Coetzee has stressed that it is too early to make any larger predictions about what an Omicron wave symbolism would mean for the world, and if we'll even reach that point. In an interview with The Guardian, she reiterated that the cases she's seen have been mild, but acknowledged that it's too soon to know for sure if that will hold for a broader spectrum of Omicron infections. It's all speculation at this stage. It may be highly transmissible, but so far the cases we are seeing are extremely mild. Coetzee said, maybe 2 weeks from now, I will have a different opinion. I think in 2 weeks, I didn't grab an article, but I believe the vaccine companies were saying in about 2 weeks they'll have more information on whether or not, or I guess they'll have some results of the effectiveness of their jabs there. So there's your timeline there for that. I predict that they're going to claim that the Omicron will have a very unique symptom of heart issues. That's why I think that they're a little warm up here with the pulse thing. It's very strange. It's a strange, high pulse. But yeah, that's what I think is going to come out of that, without a doubt. There were some interesting other things I saw. I was looking at, for other things called Omicron. There's a film from 1963, Italian science fiction comedy, directed by Ugo Gregorio. The film entered the competition at the 24th Venice International Film Festival. As becoming apparent, we live in a quantum universe where there are no coincidences or synchronicities. An alien takes over the body of an Earthman in order to learn about the planet so his race can take it over. It's a very bizarre cover. Is it all supposed to be the same person? It's like almost like a three-headed man there. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre facial expressions too. I saw this one's even more hilarious. Watch the visitor from planet Omicron. An alien comes to Earth with a botanical botanical virus plot. He's not a bad guy. He's just in it for the paycheck. But in a shutdown. Oh, class is getting into a box. But a shut-in Arizona widow wins him over with her garden fresh produce and even flies to Omicron to overthrow his corrupt government. What? This is like your classic D movie. I like how the fireworks, it looks like the coronavirus in the background there. Oh, funny stuff. Then there was the Nomad Soul. It's Omicron, known as Omicron, the Nomad Soul. Released in 1999, so you're 666. It's got David Bowie on there. He apparently had 3 songs in the game. He wrote a whole album. There's like 7 songs or something, but 3 of the songs appeared in the game. I was watching them. They're awful. And like they actually put David Bowie in the game, and he performs, and it's like the most bizarre thing ever. But anyways, that's the plot here. At the start of the game, the player is asked by an Omicronian police officer named Kyle 669, there's another 666 there, to leave their dimension and enter Omicron within his body. After doing so, the player continues with the investigation of serial killings that Kyle and his partner were originally working on. The player begins an investigation in the Anakba sector, where they uncover information that suggests the serial killer they are looking for is not human, but actually a demon. Members of an apparent underground anti-government movement contact the player and confirm their suspicions. The investigation deepens and uncovers further information. One of the Omicron's chief police commanders, Commandant Gandar, is a demon pretending to be human and luring human souls into Omicron from other dimensions by way of the Nomad Soul, Kyle 669. I should just call him Kyle 666, asking the player to help him turned out to be a trap. Supposedly, and the in-game character dies, and the real human playing the video game will lose their soul forever. Despite many assassination attempts on the protagonist's life by other demons working behind the scenes, the player destroys Gandar with his supernatural weaponry. After his brief victory, the anti-government movement is revealed to be named the Awakened, who invite the player to join them. They work in tandem with an ancient religious order led by Boz, a mystical being that exists in purely electronic form of the computer networks of Omicron. The Awakened refer to the protagonist as the Nomad Soul, since they have the ability to change bodies at will. The Nomad Soul learns afterwards that what is going on in Omicron is merely an extension of an old battle between mankind and demons, spearheaded by the powerful Ashtaroth. Ashtaroth, who was banished to the depths of Omicron long ago, is slowly regenerating power while using demons to both collect souls and impersonate high members of the government. The Nomad Soul harnesses ancient magical technology in order to destroy Ashtaroth. They return to their own dimension to prevent their soul from being captured by demons. Very interesting plot there. Just after we had that whole Travis Scott thing with the soul gathering into the mountain there, the portal of hell. I was gonna make a video on that. A lot of time has passed, and I figured it's been overdone. But I was gonna show. There's some interesting things here. I'll show you here right now. Oops. My keyboard sucks. It got damaged when I was moving. So now it like double types letters all the time. So when I'm trying to like write messages to people, it just looks like I'm, handicapped or something. It's really great. So do you remember the ceremony, the Gotthard Tunnel? Hold on a second. I wonder if it would That's so weird. Shows so many, like, the pictures it shows are so different from what I get on my phone. But okay, that's fine. Am I still recording? I forgot to check. Oh yeah, I'm still on there. Alright, you can do your thing now there, computer. I know the internet sucks, but you could at least do better. Come on. It's actually working pretty good tonight. So remember that bizarre ceremony? Now, there's a part here. You got your eyeballs and stuff. And I would love to show a video. Like, I have clips. But there's a part. Okay, you got your devil through the portal. This guy, he's coming through the portal here. But there's a part with here with the construction workers, and there's a part where it's just 8 of them, kind of like going through the portal. Reminded me very much of the Travis Scott thing. You get your eyeballs and whatnot, and all sorts of other very bizarre things going on in this. There's the eye, and it had like 3 of these long, flowy, angel-like creatures that appear. I think it was shortly after the 8 in the tunnel. Again, I was gonna do a video on this, but yeah, like I said, too much time had passed. Oh, there's also a really bizarre picture, and I don't have it on here. It made no sense. I don't know if I can find it. Let's just look at here. Okay, that's fine. Moving on. That's pretty much all I had. None of this really matters, because when you take the word Omicron and you scramble it, you get what it's really about. This is what it's actually about. Because if you're this far in and you're still buying the narrative of the variants, this is what it is, what it's all about. It's moronic of you. You are moronic, and I'm not calling it anything else anymore from now on. This is the moronic variant. Moronic. Yeah, that's all I had to say on this a little spiel here. Sorry about the Santa video. I feel like vomiting myself, so I think I should go and do that. And I thank you all for your time and attention. Please consider supporting the channel, because this channel needs your help. If not, whatever. Love you all. And I am out. Roaring from the brave new world, I am Venomnus. Catch you next time.
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? No way, punk!